After 9 years in the dugout at Anfield, Jurgen Klopp approaches his last 3 league games in charge as Liverpool manager, and over the past few weeks there's been enormous speculation about who the next manager will be. Arne Slot, manager of Feyenoord, has emerged as the number one target, and following on from their 3-1 win against go-ahead Eagles, he firmly believes that an agreement will be reached between Feyenoord and Liverpool to let the Dutchman take charge at Anfield next season, with Fabrizio Romano also reporting that the two clubs are close to agreeing on a compensation fee, with talks progressing well. So we're here to break down what his style of play looks like and whether or not he's the right man to fill the Jurgen Klopp-sized gap in the dugout next season. Beginning with the Dutchman's background, Arne Slot's stock began to rise when he took charge of RZ in December of 2018. He would become the first manager in their history to win 19 points from their first 8 league games. He would reach the round of 32 in the Europa League, and in the following season he would be joint top on points with Erik ten Hag's Ajax side. However, the season would be cancelled midway through due to COVID. The following season, he would leave RZ in December of 2020 and go to Feyenoord, leaving behind a points per game total of 2.11, the highest of any single manager in RZ's history in league football. As Slot took charge for the 21-22 season, he would lead Feyenoord to the round of 16 in European football for the first time in 20 years, losing the final narrowly to Jose Mourinho's AS Roma, whilst finishing third in the Dutch top tier, earning him the Rinus Michels Award for the Eredivisie Manager of the Year. Moving into the 2022-23 season, Slot would once again reach the knockout stages of European football. He would also become the first Feyenoord manager in history to have won 15 European football matches. However, most impressively, he would go on to win Feyenoord their first league title in 6 years, and only their second of this century, all with an average squad age of 22.6 years old. Slot was once again awarded the Rinus Michels Award for the Eredivisie Manager of the Year, becoming the 4th coach in history to have won the award in consecutive seasons. This brings us up to the present day of the 23-24 season, where Feyenoord sits second in the Eredivisie table behind Peter Bosch's near-flawless PSV side, having only lost 2 games, all with an average squad age of 23.9, whilst he also recently just won Feyenoord the Dutch Cup for the first time in 6 years. Above all, Liverpool fans are interested to see how his style translates to English football, but the real question is, what is Slot's style of play? We get a clearer idea of how Slot wants his team to play when we head over to the tactics board. When going through his principles of play, we can identify just how much he values control. And to do this, they want to have constant numerical advantages, want to play football at a high tempo, using shorter passes in build-up, wishing to invite the press onto them to create fast attacking moments by splitting the opposition's pressing shape. They also want to hold maximum width to stretch the pitch as much as possible. They also want to use fluid rotations on the flanks to create moments of unpredictability in the final third, to attack through the space that's left in behind by more aggressive opposition, and above all, they want to press relentlessly. Arne Slot has used a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 in nearly every game at Feyenoord, and like most teams, they want to bring the ball out from the back, looking to use a 2-4 build-up shape with the fullbacks a tad narrower than we're used to seeing, the double six sitting just in front of the defenders, and the fullbacks looking to provide different movements to facilitate in build-up, which is usually shown off by Gertrude inverting, tucking into defence, holding width, and overall occupying narrower positions. They're looking to use the numerical advantages in build-up to create a +1 situation, where they can find the spare man and move the ball faster towards the opposition's box, with a widespread front 5. And when they edge closer to the opposition's box, they want to throw the kitchen sink at it. Out of possession is where Arne Slot's style almost mirrors that of Jurgen Klopp's. Both Liverpool and Feyenoord are extremely high-pressing and counter-pressing teams. Off the ball, we can usually see them use a 4-2-3-1, with the number 10 often jumping out of their positions to press the centre-backs with the centre-forward, with the key idea being to pin them to one side of the pitch, using curved runs and intelligent pressing to block certain passing lanes, with the end game being to force the ball long or to win it high up in the opposition's half. And if the opposition bypass the first line of pressure, they will sit off in a 4-4-2 mid-block, with clear coaching on pushing up the pitch to gain back their lost yards. However, this hasn't been an area where Slot's Feyenoord always shine. Arne Slot has described himself as somewhat of a control freak, saying that he doesn't want to compare himself to Pep Guardiola, but their ideas of control are the same. Guardiola has the idea that to hold the ball for large stints in matches, it retains high energy levels, and this is one of the most important reasons why City aren't just a great team in possession, but a great one out of possession too, and this is because of their counter-press. Feyenoord's counter-press is no different, it's relentless, and when they're in their attacking shape, they can fill the box up with 6 or even more bodies as they look to suffocate their opposition, and whilst this leaves holes in their structure, something that has also been a problem for Liverpool this season, the use of the fullbacks providing extra support with their more reserved and narrower positions gives them not only numbers in shape for a solid foundation on the ball, but numbers to also counter-press and jump high back up into the opposition's half to win the ball high and to sustain constant pressure and possession around the opposition's box for the full 90. But it's not all about tactics, especially as a Liverpool manager, which was summed up well by Jamie Carragher on our most recent episode of Stick to Football. The manager of Liverpool not only has to galvanise the squad, but the fans too, with their character and personality.
Liverpool, when we've done well, forget 70s and 80s, but think of the Premier League era and think of, Houllier had a good spell of 2 or 3 years where we won trophies. Rafa was the same, and Klopp's had that, where there's that real connection with the fans, and then Anfield gets going, and then you feel like you're moving somewhere. So, and I've always said this, I think Liverpool is different to almost any club in that the manager's always the god. He's like, it's not about it is about great players, but if you ask the fans now, it's Klopp. When we won the Champions League, it was Rafa. It was Shankly. The manager is so important. And that's why I go back to Tuchel. And I just think he's beat Pep. That's what I just think of, you just a guy standing on the sideline and you're a Liverpool supporter and you're looking at him thinking he can go up against him.
He could win the Champions League as well.
Well, if he gets to the final, he'll have been in 3 of the last 6 Champions League finals. Now, I know it hasn't gone perfectly at Bayern Munich for him, but the job he did at Chelsea and trying to take on sort of Klopp as Liverpool and Pep's Man City, he's got something about him.
I get it.
That's my thing, and my hope with the people who've come in at Liverpool, they've been there before, they know the club really well, is don't ever forget how big the connection's got to be with a Liverpool supporter. And you might say that's the same with every fan, but that thing of like, he's our man, he can go up, he can fight against Pep, he can fight against whoever the Man United manager is, and we haven't just got a coach there.
Arne Slot may not be a Jurgen Klopp-like character, but he's not exactly the polar opposite. For one, he's a great man manager, which is not only shown off through his track record of youth development, both at AZ and Feyenoord, but also through how his players speak about him. Oussama Idrissi, who has worked under Julian Lopetegui and Erik ten Hag, says that he's the best coach he's ever worked under. Jahan Bash, who played for Brighton for 3 seasons in the Premier League, said he is one of the best managers he's ever seen. Arsenal's Reiss Nelson hailed him as a great manager, who got him into his rhythm and gave him the opportunities to excel. Slot's brother, Jacko, even highlighted that it wasn't just his coaching and football that made him a proud brother, but it was actually his development as a person. And if you listen to how the Feyenoord fans talk about him and how much they enjoy his character and warmness around his players, it's easy to see how he's become such a likeable figure there. Moving on from the tactical foundations and personality to the numbers. As we all know, Michael Edwards is back at Liverpool with the new title of CEO of Football, and he's brought in Richard Hughes as the new sporting director, and the pair are going to spearhead the new data-led recruitment approach for players and coaches moving forward. So we've tried to find the numbers that might have been important to Edwards and the recruitment team leading up to this appointment. Since Arne Slot's appointment at Feyenoord, no team in the top 7 divisions of European football have accumulated more high turnovers, more shot-ending high turnovers, and more importantly, more goal-ending high turnovers. Whilst on top of this, they have won the possession in the final third back more frequently in that same time frame than any other team in them leagues. The similarities between the two teams are there, both when it comes to the tactics and stats. Liverpool also want a really high level of risk-taking and attacking football, and despite the level in the leagues being worlds apart, Feyenoord since Slot's arrival have scored more goals, taken more shots and accumulated more expected goals on average than Liverpool per game in league football. But what about the personnel? Feyenoord have had a lot of key profiles in their team that Slot has not only developed but managed well. So to understand how the Dutchman might translate from squad to squad, we need to look at if Liverpool also have the capacity for these players. Gertruda, as we've mentioned, is the cog in the build-up, a multifunctional fullback who's played in central defence and even in midfield, a fine passer out of the back and an unbelievable link player between the midfield and the attacking phases. Trent Alexander-Arnold more than has this dynamic to his game. They also have David Hanko, a Slovakian left centre-back, who has played the most minutes for them this season, played the most passes, and played the most passes into the final third. We already know that Virgil van Dijk is the best in class at this. In the forward line, Feyenoord have quite a lot of energy energetic and dynamic attackers who can play both inside the pitch and outside the pitch, which you could also translate through to players like Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai and Darwin Núñez. However, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. Mats Weifer is the legs and anchors to the midfield, an imposing ball winner with a huge frame and plenty of quality on the ball. Very much a profile you could say Liverpool are lacking in their options. He partners with midfielder Quinton Timber, who is very much the ball carrier. He has completed the most carries into the final third and the second most dribbles in the squad for them this season. Also a player that Liverpool aren't blessed with. But with a fresh recruitment plan in place for Liverpool coming in the summer, those areas of concern will be addressed, and there will be a massive reconstruction in terms of the squad's overall look and feel. So, do you think Arne Slot could be the man to follow on from Jurgen Klopp's success, or do you believe this will be too big of a jump for the Dutchman?